Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday. Hey, baby, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Today's our son's birthday. December 2nd. He turns 20 today.
20 years old.
How old does that make us?
That makes us old.
What's going on? I demand a recount. Today is also a special day because we're going to be talking about pet stress during the holidays with Dr. Christian Eriksson about things that maybe we can do to get our dogs and cats to not stress out so darn much. You know, they're always stressed about last-minute shopping and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
The crowds
I was just
going to
say, what on earth could your dog have to be stressed
it's really
about?
because of all of the company.
All the extra people.
People at the house, or if you're traveling, all of that. Laziness and inactivity kills just as many people as smoking. Did you know that?
I did know that.
That's not good.
Not at all.
Got to go run a lap around the office here. According to Scientific American magazine, if you live in the northern hemisphere, odds are every time you fill your lungs with air, at least one molecule of that air has passed through Socrates' lungs.
What?
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
How on earth
I don't know.
could they possibly know that?
Hey,
that is the most ridiculous thing I have ever heard.
Science, Heidi.
Yeah,
because they
whatever.
guessed. Coming up, some special things for this Friday. It's all on the way.
John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. If I don't say that, by the way, I get emails. So I have to say it.
Really?
Friday, December the 2nd. Yeah, I didn't say it. And then I had somebody send me a message and said, why don't you say I thought you'd never ask anymore? I was like, really? I'll make sure I say it.
That's awesome.
Today is Faux Fur Friday. So we got that going for us. Or as some people would call it, Fox Fur Friday. F-A-U-X.
I've never
You've never heard somebody
it
call
said
it
fox. No, because I don't hang out with morons.
For those of you who thought it was Fox, she's talking about you. Not me. She is.
There is such a thing as fox fur, but it's spelled differently.
Yeah, you backpedal all you want there, Heidi. International Day of the Abolition of Slavery. That is today. It is Special Education Day today. Safety Razor Day today. National Salesperson Day today. So when they call, wish them happy National Salesperson Day before you hang up on them today.
There you go.
And National Mutt Day today. Our dogs are both mutts, aren't they? Because they're not like purebred. No,
well, they're not purebred, but
yeah, but they're a little of this and
mutts
a
are
little
like
of
a
that.
little bit of everything.
No, mutts are, our dogs are
Ours are
beautiful
half
mutts.
breeds.
They're awesome dogs.
It's a half. They're
Half
half
this and half that.
Chihuahua, half So
there you
half
go.
poodle.
Celebrate by snuggling with a mutt and their fox fur or their faux fur. Coming up, we've got your probably the biggest layover I've ever heard of on the way.
John and Heidi.
Would you like to lose weight? You could wait till New Year's to make a resolution, but most people that do that are done with them in a few weeks. No, they don't hit their goal. They just give up. If you struggle to keep your weight where you'd like it, maybe you should consider hypnosis. Many people have amazing results with hypnosis, and it's not as expensive as you think. We have a special weight loss hypnosis program for just $60 at radiosavings.com. Hypnosis can help reduce the cravings that cause you to overeat. Learn more about this special hypnosis weight loss system from Extreme Power Hypnosis at radiosavings.com.
John and Heidi.
You know it's true because you heard it on the radio, and I think maybe we talked about this already. Otherwise, it's a Tom Hanks movie, one or the other, or both. A Japanese man named Hiroshi Nohara has decided to take full advantage of his tourist visa in Mexico City. He's moved into the airport. He's been living there for 2 months. Did we talk about this like 2 months ago?
I don't know. I
some
think
reason-
maybe we did.
This seems very familiar to me. And again, I think we said last time, wasn't that a movie that Tom Hanks was in?
Yeah.
But we'll continue just in case. I have deja vu once in a while. So did I just say that? Nohara, who can't explain why he decided to live at the city airport, has been getting by on free donations from local fast food stands and kind visitors. Apparently, he's gained so much notoriety with the local media there, he's even being sponsored by a few of the stands.
Oh, my
who
goodness.
Give him free hats and shirts to wear. Now, as a tourist attraction in and of himself, people stop by the airport just to have their photo taken with him. So this guy is using his tourist visa to live at the Mexico City airport. I have been to the airport. Not that particular airport. I've been to nice airports.
That's extremely bizarre.
And I didn't think that it was so great that I'd want to live there. Although, I will tell you, there was one
Where would he
place-
shower?
I don't know.
Because they don't I don't think they have showers.
Maybe they do. Maybe he doesn't shower. I don't know. A little, splash in the bathroom. I have no clue. I don't know. It doesn't say all of that in this story. But here's the thing I will say. There was a room. I can't remember what it's called now, but there was one airplane. What do they call them again? Airline? That's the ones. They let me go into this little room where it was really cool. And I'm not usually in that little room, but I was traveling and
It was a VIP room.
That's what it was.
Yes.
And I don't know how I got, invited in there, but I went in and I was like, now every time I go to the airport, if I have a layover, I'm like, do you guys have, I should probably learn what it's called. Maybe oh yeah, it's right up there. Do you have one of those little rooms? The little room that you can go in? The room. They're like, we don't have one of those rooms. Get out of here, loser.
If you don't know what it is, you don't belong.
Apparently you don't belong here. All I can say is I was invited into the little room, and those of you who know the little room I'm talking about, coolest little room ever. I could live in that little room. But this dude's had a layover there for 2 months now. So now you know it's true, by the way.
I believe the airport would allow that.
Yeah, apparently. I don't know if there's anything they can do about it.
Well, I suppose they're open 24 hours. It's not like he's...
Yeah, apparently not. You know it's true, though, because you heard it on the radio.
John and Heidi.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain, and this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again,
844-204-1055.
And this is your brain on drugs. After being arrested for drunk driving, a mother couldn't find a sober family member in the entire family. This sounds like Heidi's family. Indiana State Police said after a mother was arrested for drunk driving, 3 other relatives who came to pick up the 1-year-old son had also all been drinking. A state trooper stopped a minivan for speeding, and this was in northwestern Indiana, arrested a 24-year-old woman on drunken driving charges. The boy's father arrived to pick him up. Officers determined that he was also intoxicated and arrested him on drunken driving charges. Police said the boy's grandparents then arrived. Both of them had also been drinking. But the grandmother who was not driving, the grandmother who was driving was not over the legal limit, so officers escorted her and the child home. So there you go. She had been drinking but wasn't drunk.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
That's funny.
Does that sound like your family, though?
A little bit.
They're smart enough to not drive, though.
Right.
That's one thing. They'll drink. They just don't drink and drive. We've got your moment of duh on the way.
John and Heidi.
A gunman in St. Peters, Missouri, robbed a 7-Eleven store, but then returned the money minutes later because his car wouldn't start. This is your moment of duh. Amazingly, the store's clerks came out to the parking lot and gave the robber a jump start.
What?
Police officer David Coupler commented, "We have a very friendly town here." So this guy in St. Peters, Missouri,
Friendly and stupid.
robbed the 7-Eleven, came back in and said, "Hey, I'm going to give you the money back. I can't get my car to start. Can you give me a jump start?" And they did.
Wow.
That is just crazy. So there you go. Note to self, sometime visit St. Peters, Missouri, because everybody there apparently is very friendly. I mean, that is a pretty friendly town right there.
That is.
There you go. Coming up in a moment, we have your scoop of the day. That is on the way. And we have a guest coming up, too. Going to be visiting about pet stress and how you can, reduce the stress for your pets during the holidays. That's on the way.
The scoop of the day is brought to you by Wells Blue Bunny. If you want delicious ice cream, be sure to look for the Blue Bunny. Sure to have your favorite flavors. Learn more at bluebunny.com.
Now your scoop of the day. Car owners hate infotainment dashboards. Consumer Reports put out their 2016 annual auto reliability survey. This watchdog publication says people don't like those dashboard infotainment systems. You know what that is?
I have no clue what that
It
is.
says before in-car touchscreens, dashboards actually had knobs, and they had like radios, and they had CD players. Now car makers put a little mini computer monitor in the dash, and Consumer Reports says people are confused by them. Even worse, when we're supposed to be keeping our eyes on the road, we're trying to figure out how to switch from this to that. Heidi fixed that in our car. She just broke it.
Accidentally.
Yeah, sure you did.
I was mad at you because you were
Yeah.
inside talking on the phone like a teenage girl, and I was waiting in the car.
I came out and the screen was black. I'm like, what happened? She's like, I don't know. I'm like, what happened to it? Well, I hit it and it Quit working. Don't do that. Okay, Cards Against Humanity.
I love that game.
Listen to this. They raised more than $100,000 to dig a hole for absolutely no reason. Throughout Black Friday, as Americans spent billions on shopping, the makers of a popular card game convinced thousands of people to give money to them so that they could dig a hole. And that's it. The pit isn't intended for anything else. Those who paid will not receive anything in return. They literally did it just to see how dumb people are. Would you give us money to dig a hole? $100,000 came in.
How big was the hole?
Must be a big hole.
I hope it was a big hole.
I've got a link to this story at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. By the way, while you're there, if you got $100,000, you don't just give it to us. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Well, you can do that, but we're not asking you to. Hey, a crook got hit by a truck in Ireland. He robbed a bank and then ran into the traffic because he was leaving the bank. He ran out into the street and got schmooked by a truck. Had to be taken to the hospital. After he recovers, he has another appointment. He gets to go to jail. So if you're going to rob a bank, when you go running out into the street, maybe you just look both ways first. That'd be a good idea. Hey, we have not been to the theater in a while. We need to fix that. There's some movies that I do want to see before they're not on the big screen.
I understand that, but
I know, we've been busy. We're going to go.
Very busy.
Going to go. Maybe this week. Mm-hmm. Disney's latest animated blockbuster debuted #1 over the 5-day holiday weekend last weekend. So for those of you maybe looking for something to do tonight, I'll bet it's still out there. But their new movie, Moana, am I saying that right?
I think so, yeah. That's not one I want to see.
$81.1 million last Wednesday through last Sunday. But that's nothing compared to their smash Frozen that brought in $93.6 million a couple years ago. That was the biggest Thanksgiving weekend ever for a movie, by the way. Mm-hmm. Frozen was. Not the Moana thing one. That one, it's good, but, it's no Frozen. National Geographic Channel and Kelton Research recently found that most expect some sort of catastrophe will hit the U.S. during the next 25 years. Really?
Are you kidding?
The next 25 years?
That's awfully specific.
So,
a catastrophe could be anything.
Here's what they think it could be, Heidi. 64% think we could have an earthquake. I'm going to knock that up to 100%.
Yeah.
Pretty good chance
within
in the next
25 years there's going to be an earthquake, yeah.
63% think we could have a hurricane. 55% think that there could be some sort of terrorism. The most feared are things like a financial collapse, significant blackout, 37%. A pandemic, 29%. Nuclear fallout, 14%. Looking ahead 20 years, 62% believe a major catastrophe will hit the world on a global basis. And most, 71%, think it will be an act of God rather than a man-made tragedy of some sort. So they're saying it's going to be like a giant storm of some sort. So there you go.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Nostradamus.
Yeah.
25 years.
In the next, that's the prediction.
Something could happen.
Yeah, there's my prediction. You guys get paid to do this stuff? I'm just saying, if you do, I really need to get I need to get in on these studies, don't I? By the way, coming up, we're going to look back in a bit at what they were looking forward to. I'm excited about this. Coming up later in the show, predictions from the 1960s as to where we would be right now. They were way off. That is on the way. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
We just wrapped up one of the most contentious elections in the history of our nation. Some are excited about the outcome, others not so excited. We want to remind you that we're still one nation, under God, indivisible. We've made it through many things, and we'll make it through this too. Let's do it together. At PoliticalStorm.com, we've been covering this election from both sides, and we want to thank the many contributors that have helped make that possible. We also invite you to become a contributor too with a free blog. Let's share all of the reasons to come together and unify as a nation. Share your voice at PoliticalStorm.com.
John and Heidi.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show. As we get closer to Christmas, it's a really exciting time for the kiddos. It's even an exciting time for us adults, but it might not be such an exciting time for our pets. Going to be visiting today with a veterinarian about our four-legged friends and how we can do what we can to help keep them stress-free this time of year. Our guest today is veterinarian Dr. Christian Eriksson. He started his career as a microbiologist with the Virginia Maryland Medical College of Veterinary Medicine. With a keen interest in infectious diseases, he realized that veterinarians were very knowledgeable in this area, so he decided to make a switch. Dr. Eriksson enjoys internal medicine because of his interest in physiology and the variety of diseases that internists diagnose and treat. And today we're going to be talking to him about all kinds of fun stuff. It has to do with our pets and the holidays, and we'll just dive in right now and say hello to Dr. Christian Eriksson. How are you, sir?
I'm doing very well. Thank you so much. How are you?
Fabulous. Thank you for taking some time to visit with us here. Now, as we get close to the holidays, this is a day, several days of celebration for us as humans, but it's not always the greatest thing for our pets, is it?
No, I agree with you. There are a lot of changes to their routine, which can cause stress.
So one of the things that happens for a lot of people is traveling. So if I'm going to go see Grandma and Grandpa, is it a good idea for me to bring my pet along, or is it maybe a better idea to find somebody to take care of my pet while I'm gone?
It's a great question. I would say in general, if it's a cat, I usually like to leave them at home. I don't like to change their environment. If it's a dog, if your dog tolerates traveling by car, I think that is okay.
There are several signs of stress. Now, in a human, we understand what stress is and how it looks to us, but how do we know if our dog or our cat is stressed out?
Yeah, so a cat, for example, there will be a change in behavior. They will be urinating outside of the litter box or hiding more frequently. Having vomiting and diarrhea can be a sign in both cats and dogs. Dogs will give you more body language, too. They'll tuck their tail between their legs, pin their ears, maybe panting, maybe acting anxious in general. And aggression, you can see that with both cats and dogs when they get stressed, unfortunately.
This time of year, there's also a lot of treats around the house, maybe a plate of cookies or some sort of Christmas candies or whatnot, and that could also pose a threat for our pets, can't it?
That is absolutely correct, and I get very concerned about chocolate. It's a time that I see a lot of dogs presenting for chocolate toxicity, which can be very toxic to dogs. But there are other foods, too, that raisins, grapes can be dangerous to dogs, causing kidney disease. Some xylitol, which we use as a sugar substitute, can be very, very toxic to dogs as well. So you really got to watch out. And the table scraps can cause other problems, such as gastrointestinal upset, leading to vomiting and diarrhea, and sometimes more seriously, pancreatitis. And inflammation of the pancreas is the organ that makes the insulin. And these animals are very painful and usually need to be hospitalized.
So speaking of hospitalized, I was reading a study here that says that one of the top 10 concerns people have when they bring a pet to the vet is tummy troubles. And that can be related to maybe they ate something wrong, or that could also be related to pet stress, couldn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've seen cats develop diarrhea from stress, sometimes even with a little bit of blood in that diarrhea. And the same thing for dogs, too. But if you're unsure, call your veterinarian, or if your animal is acting in a strange way, at least have a physical examination and chat with a veterinarian. I think that's prudent to do.
Very nice. Now, if people would like to learn a little more about you, Dr. Eriksson, where can they find some info about you?
The hospital that I work for is Blue Pearl Veterinary Partners. I'm working out of Paramus, New Jersey. And they can call me there, too. We have a line, and we usually take questions from the public as well. So.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to visit with us, and this is something that's important to me because I know a lot of our listeners have furry little friends that live with them, and we want to make sure they have a happy holidays, too.
Well, thank you, and I'm happy to be able to partner with Royal Canin to get this message out. And another place to get information would be mypetreference.com. That's also a good source of information for the public.
Again, mypetreference.com. Dr. Eriksson, thank you again, sir.
You're welcome, and have a great day.
Again, our guest today has been Dr. Christian Eriksson. Been talking today about stress on pets during the holidays. Got a couple of great tips there, and hopefully something that you can take away and hopefully make your holidays a little happier for our furry little friends. Again, if you'd like to know more, they do have the website, mypetreference.com.
John and Heidi.
Are you ready for Duel? Kyle Dowling on guitar, Brett Gunderson on bass, Sam DeVito on drums, and frontman Duel Shape.
Gotta keep rocking, Gotta keep sucking, bringing it down like rain.
Duel's new single just hit iTunes and it's selling fast. Get your copy now.
You're not contained and you feel no pain. Supernova gonna get you too.
Their first single, Supernova, is available now for less than $1. Learn more and find a direct link to buy Supernova at facebook.com/duelrocks.
John and Heidi.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
What the heck? All of these are Thanksgiving. I still have Thanksgiving leftovers. I thought I was done with those. All right. Up until the age of 8, Pilgrim boys and girls wore the same thing. They both wore dresses.
Oh.
Little Pilgrim boys wore dresses. There you go. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The reason the male turkey is referred to as a tom turkey is to make fun of Thomas Jefferson. So they're making
Why?
fun of him. Benjamin Franklin was so upset that Thomas Jefferson rejected his idea of the national bird being a turkey that he decided to make the male turkey the tom turkey in order to mock Thomas Jefferson. So now you know the rest of the story. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Only 5 Pilgrim women survived to celebrate the first Thanksgiving in 1621. Only 5.
All right.
Wow. And our final, that's not a fun fact. That's kind of bad. And our final fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Again, sorry for the leftovers here. By 19th century, celebrating Thanksgiving is said to have been the origin of the kiddie table. So up until then, there was no such thing as a kiddie table other than people celebrating Thanksgiving. They're like, well, you can't sit with the adults. You get to sit at the kiddie table. There you go. I cannot believe I still have Thanksgiving leftovers a week and a day later. So I'm going to have to double check my fun facts as we move forward.
John and Heidi.
This is the world's first and only 7-time lottery game grand prize winner. Since I endorsed Lottolicious, I have won something every single draw. When you join, you'll be giving them the set of numbers that you want them to play, and that's what they will play for you. You don't have to worry about running to the store to buy your tickets. They take care of all that. So if you're looking for the best way to play the lottery, go to RadioLottoPool.com and join today. Again, that's RadioLottoPool.com.
John and Heidi.
I've got this here from Weekend Magazine, July 22nd, 1961. They asked scientists to look into the future and tell us what will the year 2000 be like. So you'd think these scientists would have gotten all this stuff right, correct?
Well, you would think so.
Of course, they're scientists. They're always talking about how smart they are.
They always know what's going to happen.
Here's what they said would happen in the year 2000. We'll be whisked around in a monorail vehicle at 200 miles an hour. And you'll
Those
think,
exist.
They do, but they said they'd be everywhere. And we'll think nothing of taking a fortnight holiday in outer space.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
So that would be 2 weeks in outer space, by the way. Your house will probably have air walls and a floating roof, adjustable to the angle of the sun. Yeah, that hasn't happened yet. Doors will automatically open. That happens at grocery stores.
Yeah.
And clothing will be put away by remote control. I've seen a
Machines
system that
that
does
fold,
that, but
not put 'em
most
away.
people don't have them. The heating and cooling systems will be built into your furniture and your rugs. I've actually sat on chairs that warm up.
And heated floors.
So you got some of that. You'll have a home control room, an electronics center where messages will be recorded when you're away from home. Then will play back when you return, and will also give you up-to-the-minute world news and transcribe your latest mail. So that kind of sounds like a computer to me, and an answering machine.
Yeah.
So they got some of this stuff right. You'll have wall-to-wall global TV, indoor swimming pools, televisions, and telephones from room-to-room TV, so you'd be able to see from one room to another. Press a button, and you can change the decor of a room.
Oh, that would be
That
cool.
would be cool. Some of this stuff is possible. And with that, you can, I've seen rooms where you push a button, it changes the lighting, and it changes the color of the walls. So that's kind of true, too. Some of this stuff is like right up there. The status symbol of the year 2000 will be the home computer, which will help a mother tend to the children, cook the meals, and issue reminders of appointments. So there we go. That's the first half of what they thought we would have in the year 2000. So far, there's a lot of these that are absolutely right. So these
they're
scientists
close.
from
They're off, but they're close.
Close enough for them to say they got some of them right. We're going to talk about the rest of them, some not so close. That's coming your way later in the program. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
When is the last time you changed the air filter on your furnace? Now, don't be embarrassed. That happens to a bunch of us. The furnace filter should be changed often. This will help your heating and cooling system run more efficiently, and it'll even extend the life of your system. Now, there's an easy way to make it happen. Filter Easy. a new subscription service that delivers your size filter right to your door on the schedule you choose. It's easy. Filter Easy. One less thing to worry about. Learn about a special offer available now at radiosavings.com.
John and Heidi.
Next time you're going to head out shopping, you might want to check Google first, Heidi. They have a new feature that makes it easier to find out how crowded a store is at any given time. How cool is that?
That's cool.
It's part of their extension, Popular Times. It's a little update. Shows how crowded a restaurant is or a coffee shop is based on search trends. A new feature will show real-time estimates for how busy a particular location is. So if a lot of people were searching for a particular restaurant's address, they'll say, oh yeah, a lot of people are going there right now. Also, it says...
That's ridiculous because not everybody that goes to that restaurant would need to search where the restaurant is. So that is dumb.
Here's the thing. What they don't want to
That's
tell
not gonna
you
work.
in this story is they've got GPS on your phone. They know where you are at all times. Google knows where we are right now. So I'm pretty sure they could probably tell us if we were going to go to the store.
I don't like Google. I'm a Yahoo girl.
I'm a Google guy.
Yahoo
Anyway,
doesn't follow me around.
They
and
do too.
Stalk me.
They would if they could afford it. Anyway, they also have a new live view in the Popular Times section on the local card, whatever that means. I got a link to all this on our Facebook page, facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
A little update on a story that we talked about a while back. Remember we talked about Ukraine without orphans? We talked about a movement to shut down the orphanages in the Ukraine.
Yeah.
And it's not because the orphanages were bad, but they had a system set up where they had these orphanages where the kids would stay there for a long time. Meanwhile, people were wanting to adopt children, and the system was just a broken system. So this Ukraine without orphans has reduced the need for orphanages throughout the country. Officials say the church in the Ukraine that's now working on this is sending toys and clothes to children. They're not sponsoring children. They're not starting new educational programs. Instead, they're helping the children find families instead of putting them for their entire childhood in an orphanage. They're saying, you know what, this is a whole lot better.
Isn't that what they should have been doing
They
all
should have
along?
been, but this is the way they'd always done it in the past.
Our son is 20, and he says he's going to adopt his 2 girls
it's
from
funny.
the Ukraine.
He's got them named and everything already.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
these
he
kids
does.
probably haven't even been born yet. And he's talking like they're here, like they're in the other room. So, and I said, when you get married someday, I hope your wife is cool with all the stuff that you're planning. Because if not, you're
Might
going
want to have a discussion.
a little disappointed. So anyway, that's kind of a cool thing. I've got a link to that on our Facebook page as well. Facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
We just wrapped up one of the most contentious elections in the history of our nation. Some are excited about the outcome, others not so excited. We want to remind you that we're still one nation, under God, indivisible. We've made it through many things, and we'll make it through this too. Let's do it together. At PoliticalStorm.com, we've been covering this election from both sides, and we want to thank the many contributors that have helped make that possible. We also invite you to become a contributor too with a free blog. Let's share all of the reasons to come together and unify as a nation. Share your voice at PoliticalStorm.com.
John and Heidi.
And we're back, Heidi, with more predictions from 1961 of how life would be in the year 2000. Scientists peered forward into the future and said, so it will be. Cooking will be in solar ovens with microwave controls. Garbage will be refrigerated and pressed into fertilizer pellets.
What?
Yeah, that didn't happen. Food won't be very different from 1961, but there will be a few new dishes. Instead of bread, it'll be instant bread. Sugar will be made from sawdust, and there'll be many foodless foods, minus nutritional properties. They'll have juice powders and synthetic teas and cocoa. Energy will come in tablet form, Heidi. So
That's not too far
Yeah,
off.
I was going to say, there's some of that actually is right. At work, Dad will operate on a 24-hour work week. The office will be air-conditioned with stimulating scents and extra oxygen pumped in to give a physical and psychological lift.
Wouldn't a 24-hour work week be nice?
I'm thinking that'd be kind of cool. Mail and newspapers will be reproduced instantly anywhere in the world by facsimile. Well, they don't even need that now because now computers do that.
Yeah, now there's email.
There'll be machines doing the work of clerks and shorthand writers and translators. Machines will talk to each other. See, they were right on that. It'll be the age of press-button transportation. Rocket belts will increase man's stride to 30 feet. And bus-type helicopters will travel along crowded air skywalks with moving plastic-covered pavements. Yeah, none of that stuff happened. The family car will be soundless. Oh, we actually had an issue with that, where there are cars that are soundless. Now they have to put sound to them because people were getting hit by the slow-moving electronic vehicles. Remember that? Vibrationless and self-propelled thermostatically. The engines will be smaller than a typewriter. Cars will travel
that's
overland.
not the case.
Oh, cars will travel overland on 18 inches of air cushion. Railways will have one central dispatcher who will control a whole nation's traffic. Jet trains will be guided by electronic brains. Anyway, there's a lot more here, so I'm only going to hit this last one here. By the year 2020, 5% of the world's population will have emigrated into space. Many will have visited the moon and beyond by 2020. So we got 4 years to get to all of these lofty things. I do have to say this. I'm far more impressed with this list than I thought I was going to be. And now I absolutely, since I wasn't able to read it all, I'm absolutely glad that I shared it. It's on our Facebook page if you want to read it. And it's from July 22nd, 1961 from Weekender Magazine. And you can see that at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
Wowzers, Heidi.
Okay.
I got a lot of stuff on our Facebook page today. I mean, I got carpal tunnel over here just typing it all in. If you'd like to read this story, it's our good news. And we always share our good news on our Facebook page because that's the whole idea. Sharing is caring. We want to make sure that we share it. And then you can share it with your friends as well. And take a listen to this one. You're going to want to share this. Captain John Giddy-Up Bunch is a professional fish guide in Florida. First of all, what do you think of that? That's a cool idea.
That's cool.
Be a professional fish guide. According to Today, his tours are not just for fishing enthusiasts, they're also for veterans. Started over a decade ago when Bunch met a young soldier who wanted to fish before being deployed. Since that trip to sea, he offered free fishing trips for veterans. More than 1,200 trips have happened so far. Bunch is the founder of a charity called Operation Open Arms, which also provides free vacations, weddings, and more for veterans. He says it's about patriotism. I've got a link to this entire story at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. I think that's really cool.
I love our veterans.
I do too. And I just sent a message to Vet Ticks. Remember we talked to those guys?
Yeah.
I sent a message because we're sneaking up on the Super Bowl. And one of the things that their whole entire company started because the gentleman that started it was at the Super Bowl and noticed that there were vacant seats. And they had people that were presenting the colors. And when the game was done, they rushed them out of there because, hey, we don't have a spot for you. And he was thinking, wow, we got empty seats here, and these guys had to leave. They're veterans. Why couldn't they have stayed?
Right.
So they started this whole organization, just like this guy here, doing something great for veterans. So vettix.org, and I don't have that linked on our Facebook page, but super nice guy. But I want to make sure we do another interview between now and the Super Bowl to talk about that because that was kind of what got them started. So I reached out. We're working on that to hopefully have sometime in January. You can get all the details on Captain Giddy-Up Bunch. That's his name. Captain Giddy-Up Bunch, Captain John Giddy-Up Bunch, and that's all on our Facebook page, so you can check it out there. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Hey, if you're bored, I've got 10 billion articles I posted today at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.